Hey, I hope everyone's doing alright today. My name is Martin Bentley, and for this week's discussion board, I'm going to be going into detail about the Boston Freedom Trail. Now, before we begin, I like to make a side note that I'm a big fan of historical sites. I love going to them. I love reliving history in a way through those sites, and they're also important for society because especially as a teacher, I can talk about students about these historical sites and how their importance in history all I want. But if they're reading out of a book, it's hard to keep their focus for that. But another big thing is actually going to these sites, reliving them with them, and they can see firsthand, some of these buildings and things that are still around. So now going back to the Boston Freedom Trail, it was originally created in the 1950s from Bostonians who wanted to preserve aspects from the American Revolution. So in total, there are 16 sites, and it's over 2.5 miles long. And one of those sites is on water, which we'll get to later. And it attracts about 4 million people annually. So before we're going to begin at the Boston Common, but before we do that, I like to reference that at the bottom. I've provided a link that has a map that you can use to follow along as we're going on this trail. So, like I said, we're starting at the Boston Common, which is America's oldest public park. And from there, we're going to take a quick little walk to the Massachusetts State House, which was completed on 11 January 1798. And I love random facts of history. This land originally belonged to John Hancock, and it was used as a cow pasture. So it went from cow pasture to Massachusetts Public House. Gotta love it. And from there, we're going to take another walk to the Park Street Church. A lot of things happen here. Prison reform began here. Women's suffrage movement supporters went to this church as well. And it was also known as the Brimstone Corner, and it was known for that because it housed brimstone in the basement, which was used for gunpowder, and this was kept around the time frame of the War of 1812. And another piece of this was Samuel Francis Smith first played out his song "America, My Country 'Tis Thee" on 4 July 1831 at this location. All right, from there we're going to go to the burying grounds. So there are a total of 2,345 markers here, but interesting because there's estimated about 5,000 people are actually buried here. Some of the people buried here were John Hancock, Benjamin Franklin, Paul Revere, Samuel Adams, and all 5 victims from the Boston Massacre. And from there we're going to go to the King's Chapel, which was founded in 1689. It was the first non-Puritan church in the colonies. And as it has America's oldest pulpit that's still in continuous use. And next we're going to go to the Latin School site. So this is the first. This is noted as the first public school, and later on it also became open to females as well. So after this place, we're going to go next to the Old South Meeting House. This was used as a place for protesting the tea tax on 16 December 1773, and it's still used as a meeting place today. One of the other sites I'm excited to go to is the Boston Massacre site. I don't want to seem too crazy about this, but it's one of the main priming reasons for the American Revolution, and just like I said before, being able to go back and see these key places is just something I find fascinating. So on 5 March 1770, 9 British redcoats were confronted by more or less an angry mob of American colonists, and after the incident happened, you look at the propaganda side. So you go over the British side. They label this as an unhappy disturbance in Boston. But if you ask someone like Paul Revere, he would refer to this as a bloody massacre. So just looking at that propaganda tool to help fuel revolution talks and eventually helping us win the war and getting support. And next on the trip is Paul Revere's house. It's one of the oldest structures in downtown, and another cool place to go. One of the key people for helping with the Revolutionary War, and being able to go to the house would be a great experience. And we're going to move on to the USS Constitution, also known as Old Ironsides. Fast fact, it was used during the War of 1812, and it's still commissioned in the United States Navy. And I want a random job like this in the military. So current officers and enlisted personnel in the Navy still crew this vessel. And like I said, I would love to find a job like this one day. You never know. But and we're going to finish off this tour at Bunker Hill, which we all remember the quote, "You don't fire until you see the whites of their eyes," by Colonel William Prescott. And I think this would be a great place to finish off this tour. But in all, I love being able to go to these sites and reliving history. And thank you for watching. Have a great day.